He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
Welcome, everybody, to Mortgage Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tarhaka Bay, and tonight we're going to be dealing with the basics of stopping foreclosure and solutions to debt relief. And we have quite a bit of information to bring to the table tonight. Our special guest will be a good friend of mine, Brother Patrick Blackwood, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And he and I deal with this stuff on a regular basis, and we communicate with each other quite regularly. What's the best way to deal with a mortgage? Okay, that's an easy one. How do we handle foreclosure threats? What about the trust aspect? How do we bring the IRS in, and why would we even do that in the first place? Well, we got some documentation that we're going to lay out this evening, and I hope that everybody got your paper and pencil handy as we go through this thing. And keep in mind, later on, we will be opening up the phone lines. The number to dial into the broadcast will be 310-982-4184. That's 310-982-4184. And all you got to do is press 1 on your dial, and we will open up the line so you can get in. We've been off the air for a while because we've been working with quite a few people in dealing with their debt. Everything from the Internal Revenue Service, child support, student loans. We had a few banking issues where the bank want to try to tamper with some folks. And, of course, we have you people that's incarcerated and the people that's out there on the pavement trying to exercise their freedom of right to travel. So we've been very, very busy working with people and trying to assist them on a daily basis. And, it's been heavy. So, but tonight we're going to go back and we're going to start dealing with these mortgages. We're going to have upcoming broadcasts where we'll be dealing with the student loans. If you got IRS issues and stuff, we got some real good stuff on that. And, of course, your foreclosures and child support and the like. Okay? And before I say anything else, I'm going to take a little quick break because I want you to keep in mind that in December, we will be hosting the Mortgage Summit right here in Jacksonville, Florida. And so you all need to start making yourselves ready to get down here. We're going to have a grand old time. And we look forward to seeing everybody that can make it down here. That'll be we'll be in the DuPont Center. That's right downtown Jacksonville, Florida. And that's the 19th and the 20th, the Summit of the Moors. Don't miss this powerful event. We're going to have Brother Yusuf will be here in Jacksonville, and Brother Tarhaka Bay, he'll be down here. And, of course, I'll be up in there. And we're going to try to do our best to deliver as much as we possibly can. You won't be disappointed when you come down here Jacksonville, Florida. December the 19th and the 20th, and 19th to the 20th, right there in DuPont Hotel. So make sure that you're down here in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay? Hold on.
It's time. Summit of the Moors, December 19th through the 20th in Jacksonville, Florida. Several great minds working on one collective, economic security. For the first time in Jacksonville, Taj, Tariq, Bay, Yusuf, L, Akili, and back at the summit, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Tarhaka, Amana, L, Bay, Sharif, Noble, and our Amma, the Abundance Child, with myself, Dalo Saku. Register today at www.summitofthemoors.com.
All right. So, as Brother Diallo Saku, I got to get with the brother and discuss a few things with him. Before we go any further, I want to also remind you that this month, right here at Fernandina Beach in Jacksonville, Florida, we will host our Marcus Garvey weekend, and that will be August the 16th. We'll be down here, and make sure that you come down there with your green and black on, and you can bring your lawn chairs if you want to, bring your tents and your grills, but this is going to be an all-day affair, so make sure that you make it down here to that event. We will have some very powerful speakers to be with us. I'll be doing a little speaking down there as well. So I'll get a chance to meet you. If you're here in Jacksonville for the first time, I'll get a chance to meet you. We'll get a chance to meet each other. Okay? All right. Now, as far as these mortgages go, and first of all, let me say that my special guest, Patrick Blackwood, has already called me and let me know he's going to be about 5 to 10 minutes late. Okay? So, but he'll be on in here. And keep in mind that we will be opening up the phone lines later on in the broadcast. But the first thing that we want to do is lay some of this stuff out. So I want you to make sure that you got pencil and paper handy. And I should have put that in the air, but I didn't get a chance to do it. It slipped my mind. I've been off the air so long, and I'm back on. So we're going to roll on out throughout the month of August and then down through September and do what we got to do. And but anyway, make sure that you got pencil and paper so that you can write this stuff down, okay? Let's go and do these little commercial breaks. I got to get that stuff out of the way, and then we'll be ready to roll, okay?
Getting rid of a mortgage, student loan, child support, or an IRS debt should never reach a courtroom. It should be stopped on the administrative level. To get this done, go to www.newdebtelimination.com. That's www.newdebtelimination.com, or contact me, Tarhaka Amana L. Bay, at area code 904-303-9061. That's 904-303-9061. Get out of debt now. There's no need to be bogged down in a situation like that. 904-303-9061, or go to www.newdebtelimination.com. The truth is, you must be in business for yourself. Now let's take a look at this. Dial this number, 972-999-9277, for the 2-minute message. When you're done, call Tarhaka, 904-303-9061. You got to be in business for yourself. For the hottest business opportunity going today, dial 972-999-9277. That's 972-999-9277. When you're done, call Tarhaka, 904-303-9061. The greatest business opportunity this century. Don't miss it.
Okay, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you, and now is the time for us to start doing it. It's time for the kids to go back to school. And just think about it for a moment. Okay, the kids are back to school. Instead of laying around the house, get your pencil and paper out and decide for the first time in your life, what is it that you would like to do that you could make income from for yourself. You're going to have to be in business for yourself. I mean, times are getting harder and harder and harder. And we got to stop. Time for wasting time is over. And right there at my website at newdebtelimination.com, all you got to do is once you get over there, look up to the right-hand corner. It says Own Your Own Business. Click on that link and check out everything over there. If you got any questions, all you have to do is call me at area code 904-303-9061, and we get your question answered. Fantastic business opportunity. Excuse me. It's an opportunity for you to profit. You pay bills. We got light bills. We got water bills. We got gas bills. We want to have healthcare products. We want internet security. We want identity protection. We want household security protection. And all of that stuff is available over there for you. And these are things that a lot of us already have. So imagine making a profit off of something that you already have. I mean, you pay these bills on a monthly basis anyway. So why not get paid for doing it? I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity, and people are carrying it up all across the United States. And for those individuals who have joined my network, I would like to say congratulations, and keep in mind, my phone is open. If you need some assistance or something, all you got to do is call on me, and we can work with you. Okay? All right. Now, what we're going to do now is I see that my guests have arrived. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. Keep in mind, write the number down, 310-982-4184. That's the number to dial to get into the broadcast. And if you got something, a question, a comment you want to ask, later on in the broadcast, I'll make the announcement that the lines are open. Go ahead and press 1 on your telephone, and that will let me know that you have something to say. Otherwise, I won't know you're ready to communicate. Okay? So dial into the broadcast, 310-982-4184. And when it's time to speak, just go ahead and press 1 on your phone, and a little light will come up, and they'll let me know that you're ready to go. Okay? Now, let's deal with the basics of this mortgage situation. And my approach have always remained the same as long as I've been doing this stuff. Okay? One of the most, I want to give you a breakdown of this stuff, and I know you've heard me say over and over and over, talking about an administrative process. And the reason why is because just like Mr. Gene Keating has stated, mortgage and dealing with debt collections and all this kind of stuff should never reach a courtroom. All of this stuff can be nipped in the bud right through a correct administrative process. That's what it's designed for, to settle a matter informally before you go to formal meetings. And I'm sad to say that I'm still running into brothers and sisters that call me after they already down in the courtroom fight, And so, that ain't good. I mean, you want to get rid of stuff before anything like that ever happens. You should never be down in there, well, he said this, and it's time for me to file this, and I got to file that, and all that stuff. No. Let's get rid of all this rigmarole before you ever get in there. And that's why I continue to encourage people to contact me. If you have a mortgage, that's a lien. You need to be getting rid of it. We still got people who are thinking that they are in a legitimate situation. And how could that be possible when there's no money? We only have debt. That's all we got. I mean, you look at the Federal Reserve note, and it tells you at the top is property of the Federal Reserve. We got 2 signatures on that. And this is a contract between these individuals, and it's debt. You don't see the word money printed on it nowhere. You don't even see the word currency on it because it's number debt, and you cannot pay a debt with a debt. And when we get these basic fundamentals down and we start looking at the documentation that we have at our disposal, then we can start asking some questions. Okay? We can start doing it. So we got some paperwork here, and we're going to be going over this stuff this evening, and I hope you got your paper and pencil handy. I hope you got it handy because we're going to be ready to roll. Okay. Let me open up the phone line here and see if my guest's ready. Area code 954. Yes. You ready, brother?
I'm here.
Okay, well, we just going to have one of our regular conversations like we always have. And what I want to ask you, Patrick, how do you view the basics of dealing with a mortgage? And then we'll get to a little foreclosure later. But let's deal with that. Let's get some of that out there. What's your opinion on that?
I mean, basically, without you, like you're saying, if you don't do your basic administrative process, I mean, what evidence do you really have? You know what I mean? I mean, as far as you doing it, the public side, it's a whole different ballgame as far as you doing it through the circuit court. You know, when they bring the suit to you, it's a whole different ballgame.
So, in my understanding, based on what you're saying, is that we should never allow anybody to beat us to the punch in trying to settle this matter. Because, in my opinion, go ahead.
No, I'm going to say I agree with you. I mean, we're saying, this is all informational purposes that, you know, you should never let anyone, as you say, or any bank beat you to the punch. You know what I mean? You should, initiate a suit before them, or whether being, I just use an example, or a quiet title, or if, you know, they're in, let's say they're already in the process of suing you, and say it's pre-judgment. What and we're just talking about, you know, opinions, but personally, or what I'll call a discrimination suit. You know, you start something in the federal, you know, because actually in the federal, I mean, they really don't have a leg to stand on in the federal, because they have to have proof. You know what I mean? Whether you do a securitization audit and, you know, taking it to the federal, that's the key. You know, that's the key.
Right. So now, the way I look at it, and this is my approach. Okay, I start from the very first thing that's wrong. You know, first thing I'm going to question is the fact that you are trying to collect a debt from someone that doesn't exist. You sending mail to my house addressed to an all capital letter franchise. Okay, that's not a living man. So it doesn't hurt me to make a request that, well, first of all, inform them that I'm a living man. I'm not dead. You know, you're addressing me the same way that all people in the cemetery are labeled in all capital letters. If anybody been back, next time you go out there, pay attention to all the gravestones, all in all caps. So that's the first thing that I want to let them know. Hey, look, let's get this here straight right here. You know, so, you know, please respect me. I'm respectable to you, and I feel like I deserve to be respected. So if you would, please, if you're sending me something, you're claiming I'm more in your debt, I need to make sure that you are talking to me, a living, breathing man. So let's get that part straight first. And as I go along, I might have to remind them of that situation there. And I think once it gets to that point, I think it is time for us to start communicating with one another through the mail, because we got a lot of people that are getting, you know, I hear about it every day. They constantly getting calls from debt collectors, and these folks are calling people not only in their home, 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. They're calling them on weekends, on Sunday. They even going so far as to call these folks on their job. And we have some stuff for that, and for those of you who got your pencil and paper handy, you might want to write this down. You want to bring up on your computer the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, known as the FDCPA, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and also Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act, and the Telephone Consumer Practices Act. That's the TCPA, Telephone Consumer Practices Act. And then the Truth and Lending Act, the TILA, Truth and Lending Act. And of course we got RESPA, RESPA. So we want to let's look up this terminology and see what's available to you, because you can stop these folks in their track, and they're liable once you have put them on notice of the fact that you no longer want to receive any further phone calls to your telephone number, and you got it written down in a letter in regards to the alleged account, and put that account number down there, and you can send this thing, sign this thing, and send them a copy. You got a copy, and give them a few days to get it, and make sure that you know they got it, and then we can get ready to start putting some of this stuff into action, and start taxing these people for breaking the law. But now, on this mortgage deal, can you give us a breakdown based on what you know about exactly what a mortgage is? Could you give us some insight into that?
Well, I mean, a mortgage is basically a contract. A contract between two parties. Parties, which at that point the two parties made an agreement, and basically within that agreement they say, well, it's a debt. In my terminology, it's a debt, and the individual has to pay for the debt in that case. But looking at that's from the public side, but looking at it from the private side, you recognize it's just a simple contract. It's really a simple contract, and it just like in any other contract, a contract can be broken. And the more I'm looking into the private side, is the more I'm realizing that not only with the mortgage, you're dealing with securities, you're dealing with contract law, and you're also dealing with you're dealing with securities contract law, and you're also dealing with accounting, the accounting law. You know what I mean? So, I mean, those are the three basic, or those are the basis of the mortgage, and how it's situated, basically on the private side. And I start. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I'm just saying. Go
okay.
ahead.
Well,
I'm sorry.
When I look at contract, to me, a contract between two parties should contain the signatures of both parties. And the reason that I'm saying that, because when I deal with people that's dealing with mortgages and stuff like that, they tell me that the mortgage company, especially when they bring the debt into question, the mortgage company sends them this big, giant envelope. And in there, the mortgage company has everything that this individual has signed. Okay, you sign this and you sign that. Okay, well, my question is, at this point, could you please forward me all the matching documents that contains your signature and mine? And could you forward the actual copy of the loan instrument that you gave me when you told me that the bank was going to give me a loan, which should contain the signature of the bank and my signature? Don't you think? Go ahead.
Were you both at the table? That's a question asked.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
It's a question asked. I mean,
yeah, we both were
the bank
the same table.
Was the bank at the table?
The bank was at the table when I went to the bank. Me and the bank examiner sit across from each other at their table, and the bank said, sign here, sign here, sign here, and sign here. And then
90%. Now I'm saying 90% of closing here, 90% of the closings are done at the mortgage broker's office, and they might have a public notary there, but I've never seen them there. You know what? One of the thoughts that I always that goes through my mind is this: if you own the property, or if the bank quote unquote own the note, or they own the property, why would you buy something? Why would you buy something that you already own at sale? At the foreclosure sale, why would they buy something that they already own?
Okay.
No, it's just something. That's just a thought. If you own something, why would you purchase something you already own? So that gives me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, I was just going to throw in. Is it lawful for a bank to own property? And if it's lawful for a bank to own property, are the depositors giving the bank permission to use their funds to purchase that property? I'm just throwing that out there.
Is it lawful for the bank to extend their credit? To give you a loan?
Okay. Well, is it?
I don't think so. I mean, it's not lawful. It's not lawful for the bank to do that. Matter of fact, those are questions you would actually put on interrogatory. Is it lawful or admit? Or you would put it on your admit, where you admit or deny. Those are things for admissions, interrogatories, your discovery. These things I would ask. These are the questions
I want to come back to the mortgage, but could you give us a breakdown on the foreclosure situation and how that works out? We'll come back to the mortgage thing.
Okay, a breakdown of the foreclosure in the judicial state. I mean, one of the things that first you will be served with a complaint. You have in the judicial states you have 20 days to answer the complaint. If you at that point I'm not giving legal advice. I'm just giving information. This information you can find on the internet. You can find this at the library. You can find it anywhere. But basically, after that, you can do a motion to dismiss. Based on the complaint. If your motion to dismiss is denied, then you have to do an answer to the complaint. Now within this is, my personal, a lot of friends that I have or experience. I've seen people just totally deny everything and just admit or give. They admit only for jurisdictional purposes only, but deny everything else. The reason why they do that, because, again, the more I'm looking at it, and the more I'm looking at it from the private side, I'm seeing that it's more contractual. I'm seeing that it's more contract. And, you allow them through this contract to actually, take the power to do what they desire. But if you take away the power through, denying everything, and I'll use that. Let's use an example. I know I'm straying a little bit away. I'm going to go to a credit card situation. Let me use a credit card situation. I had a friend of mine who called me up, owed, I think it was like almost $20,000 in a credit card. On a credit card, they sued him. So he sent the complaint over to me, and I looked at it, and I was telling him that on the complaint, they also had discovery.
Okay.
So they asked him to admit. They asked him to admit if the debt is his. They asked for admissions. They asked for interrogatories, and I think it was production also. So I had him denied everything.
Okay.
I had him denied everything, and then I had him do a sworn denial, an affidavit, which is a sworn denial to everything. And he filed a motion to dismiss. And all of a sudden, I realized that we had a hearing date like 20 days later. And for some strange reason, opposing counsel or opposing, the plaintiff never showed up.
Right.
Every time we do it that way with a sworn denial, for some reason, plaintiffs never show up. That's what credit cards. So, I mean, a sworn denial works because it's contract. They have no contract. If they had all this information, why would they send for discovery? So a motion to dismiss. Right. If they had the information, they wouldn't ask for discovery with a complaint. Well, now back to the mortgage. With the mortgage, after you have an admission, after you have answer, then your best friend is discovery. You're gonna use your discovery to, and matter of fact, in the state of Florida, you can use first interrogatories, second interrogatories, third interrogatories. So discovery can be your best friend. And I've seen where discovery, the bank want protective order based on the questions that you ask. And you have to look at it from a contractual standpoint. You have to look at it from a contractual standpoint. At one point, I used to look at it, case law, yes, case law is good. Statutes are good. But also look at it from a contractual standpoint. It will be more, to me, you have more validity that way. You have an advantage.
Now, on all these documents, that you're using, are these documents put in affidavit format and signed and notarized? How do you?
Well, you know what? Yes, they are. I mean, at one point, I didn't used to use, affidavit format and stuff like that. I always hear an unrebutted affidavit stance, and yes, they are used in an affidavit format. When I was talking about the credit card earlier, yes, it was used in an affidavit format. The sworn denial verification was an affidavit. Unrebutted affidavit stance, like you said, like that's just law, So they're using the affidavit format.
Okay. Well, I have to agree with you about the contract side because, to me, once I found out that the whole United States operates under a continuous series of contracts, that's basically what I started dealing with. I mean, any type of response, we dealt with a situation the other day with the Internal Revenue Service where they're claiming that this guy owes them, it was $5,000, and they took this guy's Social Security check. And then they sent him another letter claiming that they owe him, he owes them an additional $2,000 because he didn't file taxes at a certain point in time in history. And so we sent them a request for information stating that on the contract, signed, stamped, witness, notarized, that we'd be more than happy to pay you. We just want to know exactly who it is to pay because you're sending something saying that, well, we're the IRS. Okay, well, Mr. or Mrs. IRS who? And so, and by what authority are you claiming? We need this information as quickly as possible so that we can get you paid. And we sent that on out to him and gave him 14 days to respond with that. And but that is our contract. They sent him a document. It didn't have a signature on it. Nobody signed it. They took this man's money, and then they're claiming that he owes the IRS in this particular state. No individual, nobody, just this organization. So
right.
we just need to know who to pay. Is it Mr. James IRS, Mrs. Margaret IRS? Just give us the individual that we owe so we can pay you, and we're going to send this to you as a contract. And we're looking for satisfaction of this contract by a specific time limit. And that time limit was up as of today. And so tomorrow, we'll give them an additional 5 days through a notice of fault and opportunity to cure to go ahead and get this matter settled so that we can pay them. By law, we put all the UCC statutes and stuff in there. It's all a lawful request so that we can get the matter settled. So you are absolutely correct. Contract, and we can just remember basically that everything operates on contract, because we still got people accepting phone calls and trying to talk to these people over the phone and let them know, well, I haven't worked this week and I got laid off. They don't care nothing about that. You gotta deal with these folks on contract, and you have every right. If somebody says you owe them a debt, you have every right to request everything that's associated with that debt. You have every right to do that. And but there are quite a few people out there that's not doing that. So we want to host this show tonight to make sure that we lay information out on the table. I heard you say something, Pat, about the interrogatory. You want to let us know what that is? Because I don't think a lot of people know.
Well, interrogatories are basically questions. Those are actually called. Well, interrogatories are actually discoveries. It's okay. On the statute discovery, and you ask questions. You can ask questions or admissions. You want them to admit this. You want them to produce this or production. So these are things that you can ask for. I'll use an example.
Right.
We were talking earlier. We were saying, well, you wanted, is it lawful for a bank to extend its credit? Did they? Some questions to ask. Did they loan you? Did they extend their credit while they were giving you the loan? Yeah.
Okay.
Did they have the original promissory note? Did they have the original promissory note? Did they were they at the table? Stuff like that. I mean, you have to be very creative. You have to stop and think about it, and be very creative with some of your questions. You want front and back copy. I use this. One of the things that I will use is I will ask, did the insurance, was there asset-backed insurance on the securities of the mortgage note? Did the asset-backed insurance pay off the note? Or I'll ask them to produce a copy of the insurance that backs the note. Or can you give me the name or the phone number and the address of the asset-backed insurance and the policy number? So these are things that you're inquiring. These are the things you can, actually ask the insurance company, did they pay it off?
Okay.
So there's many ways to go about it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Now you're saying that we can actually contact the insurance company and ask them, have they paid off the property? Which the insurance, have they?
Exactly. If you have the policy number.
Okay.
If you have the policy number, I mean, that's what interrogatories are for. That's what like, let's use an example of admission. Do the insurance, do my mortgage or note is backed by insurance or asset-backed insurance? Admit or deny? They have to admit yes or deny no. You know,
and
so these are things that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are these things that we can request from the bank through lawful affidavit, or do we request this from the mortgage company?
Well, you remember, we're dealing with two entities. We're dealing with the investor, and we're dealing with the servicer. So from the servicer standpoint, you can request. The servicer is the debt collector, so you can request all this information from the servicer. You know, you're requesting all this information from the servicer, and this is when you're actually you're actually served with the complaint, and you already answered the complaint, and your next step is actually serving discovery, which is interrogatories, production, admission, and you can actually subpoena, you know, the president or subpoena the other people that's on the note mortgage. Yeah, I mean, it's your best friend. This will be your best friend.
Well, I know that feelings doesn't have anything to do with any of this, but I think back to when I was sitting to the table getting my home, and I was surrounded by this entire team of people from the mortgage company, and they were steady pushing documents for me to sign. And by the time I got through signing documents, man, my fingers were cramped. But it kept echoing in my head that the bank is going to give you a loan, because they told me that the bank was going to give me a loan, and then I couldn't wait to get up the next day and go to the bank, because the bank that I was going to was right up the street from my house. So I went up to the bank, and when I got to the bank, I took the papers in there and I gave them to the bank examiner, and I told them who I was. And they looked over everything and said, well, okay, we was expecting you. And have a seat. I'll be right back. And they carried my documents in the back room and stayed a few moments. And they came back with another set of documents. And then this signing process started again. And sign here, and sign here. And after I got through signing, I was looking for them to give me a check to, and this is my understanding, that I was supposed to get the check because the bank was going to give me a loan, and I was supposed to take the check and give it to the mortgage company, but they didn't. We never got to a check. The bank examiner stood up and extended her hand and said, congratulations on your new home. And where is it located? And I told her, oh, that's a nice area. And you got to invite me over for dinner. I said, oh, okay. And I was happy. And after I got out, was going to get in my automobile, I said, well, oh, I looked through the documents. I said, she forgot to give me the check. But I said, well, maybe she going to mail the check to me. But I felt this like, okay, I hope I got all this wrong. And then the next thing I know, the mortgage company was calling me, congratulations, everything went well, and congratulations on your new home, and never didn't know that the only person who went for a ride was me.
Well, can I ask you a question? You're talking about those documents, right? Let me ask you a question. Did you sign? Did you read your recension documents at that point?
No, I didn't read nothing because they had assured me that everything was fine. And I said to myself, when I get off of work on the weekend, I'm going to read the documents. But when I opened up the envelope, I never read anything.
Right, right. The only reason why I'm asking, right? The reason why I'm asking you this is, did you actually saw? Let me ask you to be exact. Trying to see this document here. Did you ever see in your document from the bank? It's called a H9.
I don't recall.
Yeah, because the H9 is, for some reason, the banks will give us the H8, was where you can resend the document within three days. I think it's 3 days. You have 3 days. I think it's 3 days, right? And they, for some reason, they don't show us the H9. And the H9 is where they didn't let us know that when the debt is transferred or when it's refinanced, you can actually rescind the mortgage right there again. They didn't let us know that. And that's within the H9. And in actuality, I think that's within 12 CFR bracket H, open and close bracket II. It talks about that. So the H9 we weren't shown. They didn't give us the H9, but they give us the H8.
Okay. Well,
that's something.
Now that's interesting. That's that's interesting. You ready to slip their mind?
So if you're telling me that they did, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say that they might have forgot to give, about 9 million people this stuff accidentally. But go ahead.
So if they forget to give us, let me ask you, is full disclosure at that point the truth in lending? Is full disclosure? Did full disclosure happen?
Well, in my opinion, based on the day that I sat down there, I was not given full disclosure. I was not given they did not take the full package that they brought, because they had this big envelope. I mean, it was thick. And they did not hand this to me and tell me to carry this to my attorney so that he can go over this with me and tell me what to sign and what not to sign, and explain if I signed, this would happen or this wouldn't happen. I didn't get that. What happened was they opened up the envelope and they began to pass these documents among themselves around in a circle, and then it landed in front of me for me to sign. But I noticed that I don't recall them signing anything. I was the only one going for this particular ride.
Wow.
So when you ask me about full disclosure, I have to say no. But now you also mentioned the rescinding of the original contract. In other words, because my understanding, now this is my understanding, okay, they said that you could be foreclosed on, you can rescind the contract at maturity. But I do remember one thing, my mortgage was a 30-year mortgage. Okay? So I can rescind the contract at maturity. But then I remember that when I started bringing the debt into question, they started sending me letters about foreclosure. And I'm like, okay, and I didn't know anything about the letter of rescission or rescinding the contract or maturity or anything else. I didn't find all that out until later, after I had gotten rid of the mortgage, and they had declared they removed the lien, won't foreclose, and forward the documents over to the county recorder's office. I found all this out after the fact. So could you give us a breakdown on what it means, about the recension thing. Could you shed some light on that?
Well, based on CFR 12 CFR, and as I say, when I'm not giving legal advice, this is just information and for informational purposes only.
Entertainment.
Based on 12, entertainment, information. Based on 12 CFR, and in actuality, I might have a case. It's a case that was won by a pro se litigant, and you can actually look it up. Hold on a second. Let me get it for you. Hold on a second.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all hold on a moment, and cause we're going to be bringing some information out and stuff, and so y'all can get the stuff. Make sure you got your paper. Okay, go ahead.
It's actually Deutsche Bank National Trust Company.
Okay.
Plaintiff versus Michael Gardner.
All right.
Gardner. And the case number is actually, the number is 3421 EDA 2014. And actually, the pro se litigant actually won. Based on the CFR, 12 CFR HII, and there's actually an actual copy of the H8 and the H9, and you'll see where they actually gave him the information about the H8, but never gave us the information about the H9. And even in foreclosure, I realize even in foreclosure, we have the right to rescind, based on this, this document right here. And personally, information is power. I mean, once I've recognized about the CFR, 12 CFR, I mean, I recognize that the power that we had in our hands. They're supposed to give us this document, once it's transferred. And, just thinking about it, if, let's say, you refi, you have 3 days, or 3 years, I think up to 3 years after you refi. If there's, if they still didn't give you that information, the H9, which they never do anyway, you know what I mean? They never give that to you anyway. So, I mean, you still have 3 years to resend.
Okay, now, let me ask you this. Now, what if you get in a position, we'll say that they are foreclosing. They've sent you threatening letters saying that they're going to foreclose, and you make an informal request in writing for the rescission document. Don't they have to supply you with those documents so that you can actually rescind the loan? Send it depends. The note? Okay.
Well, it depends on what you have. It depends on what you stated in your letters, because there's a format of how to do it, how to rescind. And then, as we say again, did you get full disclosure? You have to let them know you didn't receive full disclosure. You have to, based on your argument, so that's in your letter. Yeah.
Okay.
And just like how you say, use the administrative process.
Right.
And you use it to your benefit. Let's say you wrote them and they never send you the rescission information.
Okay.
Let's say you use an affidavit you send an affidavit and you ask for the rescission letter and you formatted it and you use the 12 CFR 12 CFR HII. Let's say you use that. They didn't respond.
Okay.
Then you use the certificate of non-response and
okay.
And let's say you use your administrative process. You went through your whole administrative process, and after you exhaust the administrative process, let's say that in response, then at that point, and this is just me speaking it right here, I would personally do a quiet title with all that information that I have. You know, so I think I have ground at that point.
You would draw up a quiet title and attach
a quiet title, and attach to the evidence that I have.
Okay. And you would file that into the foreclosure case, or would you?
No, I wouldn't file that in the foreclosure case. I would actually file that separately.
Okay.
I would actually file that separately.
Mortgage corp. Would you send it to a copy to the mortgage company first, and maybe perhaps sign a copy to the judge, something like that? Once I did the administrative process, and they haven't, and this is pre-foreclosure. Let's say they didn't actually serve me yet, but just say they tell me they're going to put me in foreclosure. I just beat them to the punch. You understand what I mean? It's the first man that brings a suit wins. That in my book. You know what I mean? Right.
You
okay.
know,
now, what about?
I would actually.
What about after we rescind the contract, the original contract, and let's say that rescission was granted and it went through and everything. You know, it was done. Don't they have to give you back all of the money that you had paid into the mortgage?
From what I saw, it says recoupment. So yes, recoupment is there.
Okay.
The
now,
mortgage,
what about? Okay. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying the recoupment requires the mortgage. I think the recoupment requires the mortgage and the amount. I'm not too sure about that.
Okay. Now, we can't lose sight of the fact that we're talking about a crooked situation, a one-sided situation, because we know, you and I both know, that the bank didn't give you a loan, and at the same time they insured the property, and if you couldn't pay the note, the mortgage, then the insurance company paid off. So these people are the only people that seem to be profiting in this situation. So during the rescission process, what about bringing up fraud? Because I think what is happening is a lot of people are not bringing up fraud. And there's no statute of limitations on fraud. And because the way I see this, you know, and this is just me personally speaking, you know, I would suspect bringing up fraud and attaching punitive damages. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, with the administrative process, because, I mean, punitive damage is 9 times the value of, you know, the punitive. So let's say you had a house and let's say they're foreclosing, you're talking about 9 times the value. So if you're mentioning punitive damage, let's say the house was $300,000. Now we're talking about, you know, 9 times the value of $300,000. Yeah. So you're talking about 2-point-something million.
Wow.
2.7.
So that rescission plus fraud plus punitive damages on paper about the and the reason the reason I'm saying this right here is because we got people. There have been situations where I seen a situation down in Florida where this man he had paid off his house and he didn't have a note. The house paid for, and the bank comes sending him some stuff telling him they foreclosing on him. I mean, to me, that seems like somebody that's been so busy doing something crooked till they overdone it. You know, just like the child support situation where the man's child has been dead for 7 years in the court, talking about this man old child support is finna arrest the man, put him in jail for dead child. Wow. Yeah.
Well, and then one man you heard about the story.
Who didn't even have one?
You heard about the guy that was in prison. The guy that was in prison. And some girl used his name and his social security, and they even did a paternity test, and knew that the child wasn't his, and they still wanted to lock him up.
Wow!
Yeah, so I mean,
yeah. So in my opinion, you know, like I be trying to tell people, you know, hey, you know, a lot of people tell me, say, well, you know, I've been paying my mortgage faithfully. And because people are still under the impression that, first of all, they're under the impression that the United States of America is still a country. It's a corporation. It's acting as a corporation. And they're still under the impression that fiat currency, debt notes, is actually money. And we just had a store around the corner robbed the other day. And they had the cops out there, and they robbed us. But the way I see it is the robbers actually just relieved the store of a certain amount of debt. That's I mean, it seems insane, man. When you look at the reality, you know, somebody, you know, I mean, it's the truth. You know, it's the truth. You know, somebody stick you up in the street and you got $500 dollars cash in your pocket, and they rob you of it, and the cops come in, and the cops say, well, how much money did they get? Well, they got $500. You just lied. They didn't get $500 worth of money from you. They relieve you of 500 pieces of debt.
Wow.
That's the reality of the situation. But anyway, we ain't going all down up in there. And what I want to do at this point is take a little quick break because we're going into the second hour. And we are talking about mortgages and foreclosure. And my special guest is Patrick Blackwood. And I'm going to take a little quick break, Patrick. And when we come back, we're going back in, okay?
All right, perfect.
All right, get your glass of water because I need one. All right, we'll be right back. Y'all hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all hold on a moment. We're going to go over here and do this thing here. And
you know, getting out of debt should be a number one priority. And to do that, just go to newdebtelimination.com. That's www.newdebtelimination.com. But now, when it comes to owning your own business, dial 972-999-9277. Again, 972-999-9277 for a quick 2-minute message. When you're done, contact Tarhaka, 904-303-9061. That's 904-303-9061. Get in business for yourself. Stop messing around. Stop going on these jobs and get into a business that you own and you control so that you can be free. Dial.
It's time. Summit of the Moors, December 19th through the 20th in Jacksonville, Florida. Several great minds working on one collective, economic security. For the first time in Jacksonville, Taj, Tariq, Bay, Yusuf, L, Akili, and back at the summit, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Tarhaka, Amana, El Bay, Sharif, Noah, and our Amma, the Abundance Child, with myself, Dalo Saku. Register today at www.summitofthemoors.com.
The sun don't seem to shine on me no more. I find myself waiting by the door. Things just ain't the same since you've been gone. So I kill time waiting by the phone, hoping that you'll call or just come home. Your side of the bed is cold and I'm alone. So I call mom and mama said, son, let it go, move on, 'cause she's gone, yeah, she's gone, oh, she's gone, yeah, she's gone, and I know, but what if mama was wrong? At night I pace the floor in corridors. I'm a man of wealth, but by myself I'm poor. So Lord, take this, take that, 'cause I can't take no more. She was all I'm living for, and now she's gone. There's all this emptiness inside my home. Her side of the bed is cold and I'm alone. So I called mom and mama said, son, let it go, move on, 'cause she's gone, yeah, she's gone, oh, she's gone, yeah, she's gone, and I know,
All right, Mose, we back. Our special guest is Brother Patrick Blackwood, and we're discussing foreclosures and mortgages and stuff. And we're going to be dropping a few bombshells here this evening. Patrick, are you still with me? Brother Patrick is he'll be back on with us in a second. He's probably still on this little break. But anyway, I'm going to go into the exposing of a document, and because the brother was mentioning about the quiet title, and he was talking about the dealing with the different codes and stuff, and we're going to show you how this kind of stuff can be done and put together. And keep in mind the administrative process. We have that stuff laid out. And this is the same identical process that I use in dealing with any debt collector. The way I see it is I want to go to my brother first. I mean, my brother say, well, look, I got a problem with you. You owe me money. So I want to go to him and say, well, look, I'm more than willing to settle this matter with you. However, I only have a few questions to ask. And by law, I have every right. I mean, if someone is claiming you owe them some debt, I mean, let's find out exactly what it is that I owe you so that we can get you paid. Okay? So that's the way I look at that thing. Brother Patrick, you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to lay out this document because a lot of people have tried to get a hold of this type of stuff, and it was very, very difficult for us. but I'm going to read the construction of what's called a letter of rogatory. But before I do that, could you give us a little brief synopsis of what that is?
Well, basically, from my understanding, the rogatory is similar. It's similar where you contract. It's like you're contracting them. Hold on, I'm looking at it. It's similar like you're contracting, and you're asking for certain things, like similar to interrogatories, but now it's the letter of rogatory. You make a statement, and you ask for production. You ask them to produce certain documents, which is similar to an interrogatory. But it's based on commercial codes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to read this thing, and we got this thing laid out in affidavit format here. And it says affidavit, notice the principal is notice the agent is notice the principal, applicable to all successors and assigns. Silence is acquiescence, agreement, dishonor. Letter of rogatory. I am before this court by special appearance without waiving any rights, remedies, or defenses, statutory or procedural and private, in response to this court's recent summons and notice of application for writ of possession and hearing that I was served on X amount of date by such and such a bank, their counsel, case number, such and such a thing. I am conditionally accepting this court's offer and summons to appear under the 2-207 Uniform Commercial Code and the bank's demand to surrender possession of the claim upon proof of the following claims and facts. Number one, bank with the original signatures. Number two, the bank. Show me identification and the authority to act or do a presentment for payment on behalf of blank blank bank. Receivable as mandated by the 35012B Uniform Commercial Code of the Uniform Commercial Code, the bank signed the receipt for the instrument or promissory note for payment payment in full as a court and satisfaction under the 3-3311 Uniform Commercial Code by scrutinization of the contract under the transfer and servicing agreement, and to threaten the instrument of the promissory note to me is mandated of the 35012C of the Uniform Commercial Code. Such and such a bank, which is a division of such and such a bank, produced the scheduling balance sheet. We don't need you to produce that. RC-C showing loans and lease financing receivable are assets, and the RCL call reports evidencing scrutinization of the purchase and stall agreement as an off-balance sheet item under the transfer of servicing agreement of the servicing and pooling on the mortgage loan, that the accounting ledger for the alleged mortgage transaction to show the bank is in compliance with the FASB Section 9 according to Standards Board Number 95 Statement of Cash Flows, in parentheses IAS 7, and credited my payment as a cash deposit and receipt as the payer when the entry is made under 1813 L1 of Title 12. I also want to see the 1099A as an acquisition and a 1099 OID as an original issue document, and a U.S. informational tax return from 1096 tax return showing the capital transfer tax withheld and paid out as a taxable termination by the trustee of the transfer and servicing agreement under 2511-2603-2611 of Title 26 of the Internal Revenue Code. Otherwise, blank blank bank is in possession of contraband upon which a lien has attached under 6324C2 of Title 26 of the Internal Revenue Code until the capital transfer tax is paid in full. And this is coming from a letter of rogatory. So once again, we have documentation with all the lawful requests lined up in one document, and this is all a part of getting this matter settled. Now, you want to add anything on this, Patrick?
Wow, that was a mouthful. I tell you that much. It was a mouthful. I mean,
well,
there's nothing for me to say. I mean,
this is a very, very powerful document, because I'm looking at, and this was just the first part. I didn't get to the second part because it is a 2-page document. And in fact, I'll go ahead on with the second part here. And it states, this court is a court of record and trustee under the Florida Constitution, Article 689-07, Section D, set up for the benefit of the prosperity and sovereignty of the people of the United States of America, is required by the Internal Revenue Code and the instruction booklet on the 1099A or a 1099C to file. See page 2, subsection 5. When there has been a taxable termination as generated of skipping transfer under 2611 of Title 26, please fill out and return the enclosed W-9 form. In the event that this court is, as court of records, breaches its fiduciary duties to file a 1099A or a 1099C as required above. So I may file the same showing the court as a reservient of the funds as a transferee and liable for the capital transfer tax as a taxable termination. FASB 95- consistent with common usage, cash includes not only currency cash on hand, but demand deposits with banks and other financial institutions. Cash also includes other kinds of accounts that have the characteristics of demand deposits account. Cash includes other kinds of account that has the characteristics of the demand deposits account. The customer may deposit any additional funds at any time and also effectively may withdraw funds at any time without further penalty. All charges and credits to these accounts are cash receipts, are payments to both the entity on the account and the bank holding it. EX, a bank's granting of a loan by crediting the proceeds to a customer's demand deposit account is a cash payment by the bank and a cash receipt of the customer when the entry is made. I am demanding the cash receipt associated with this account. If such and such a bank fails to produce said cash receipt, I will be forced to file a complaint with the Securities and Exchange Commission as well as the Public Interest Oversight Board for accounting. I am in possession of exculpatory evidence, transfer and servicing agreement to such and such a bank where such and such a bank sold and assigned without recourse is interest, and in the retail sales contract here and after receivables, such and such a bank, division of such and such a bank to the owner trust. Okay? And that is the end.
Wow.
Very, very interesting.
Man.
Oh, yes,
very
most definitely, because what is taking place here is not only are we requesting by law and through the Uniform Commercial Code that governs commerce inside the United States, but we have included magistrates and liabilities to perform as trustee.
Wow.
Now, what about, let's deal a little bit more about bringing up this issue of fraud into the situation. And let's see, because what I was listening to Gene Keating, and what he was saying was he was trying to get to the bottom of why people are losing in these going into these courts and losing these cases. And it's because there are certain things they're simply not doing, and there are certain things they're not understanding. And he says he doesn't know of anyone that's bringing up the issue of fraud. And in my opinion, That's exactly what's taking place. We got a one-sided contract, no full disclosure, and then people are receiving this letter in the mail from mortgage companies clearly telling them that they have sold their mortgage to somebody else and that they're under obligation to pay somebody else. And there have been situations where mortgage companies are telling people that we have sold your mortgage to another company, but you still must send your payments to us. So, it seems like people are caught between a rock and a hard place with these kind of situations. You understand what I'm saying? Wait a minute, I think okay, my brother's call has dropped, and until he dials back in, we're gonna move on with this here thing. And because the way I see this situation is this is the way I see it personally. If I have a contract with you, and in the case of a mortgage, we already understand this is a one-sided situation. First of all, there is no money. Second of all, everybody signing up with you. The bank certainly ain't putting anything on. So we got a lopsided situation going. And then for the mortgage company to contact me and tell me that I have sold your mortgage to somebody else. Okay, now that tells me right there, it is at this point right there that I should not make not now another mortgage payment to nobody else. And the reason being is because I do not have a contract with nobody else. My contract, even though it's lopsided, was with you. So how is it possible inside the United States of America that operates under a continuous series of contract known as contract law? How is it possible that I owe somebody else that I don't have a contract with? So it is at that point I feel like it is reasonable for me not to pay now another dime until we get this mess straightened out, the way I see it. Okay, at this point, the phone lines are open. The number to dial into the phone into this call is 310-982-4184. 310-982-4184. If you got a question for our guests, if you have a question for me, or if you got a comment, now's the time to raise your hand and I open up the line so that you can get in. Okay? 310-982-4184. If you got a mortgage, now it's time for you to call in so that we can find out what's going on with you. And what I would encourage all of you to do, those who are listening to this broadcast, don't take my word for it. Go to Black's Law Dictionary. I think you can look in I think it's the 8th or 9th edition, 5, 8, or 9. Might find it in 7. Look up the word mortgage and look up under every definition that they say the word mortgage is, and you will find the word lien. So, because people are under the impression that I'm supposed to have a mortgage. I'm supposed to have this lien. This is what I'm supposed to have. That's the law. I'm supposed to do this. And then we seem to be under the impression that because the media has stopped talking about a certain situation that, well, it's all going away. I mean, we had this big bash, this big blowout with the banking scandal and the mortgage foreclosure crisis and all of this stuff. And I mean, it was in the media. It was all down in the Senate. We had a congresswoman told people, you sit right in your house and don't you leave. You know, they come out trying to foreclosure, don't you leave. I mean, it's coming from the center, but then all of a sudden now, keep in mind, all of a sudden, it's no longer in the media. So people go back to participating in the same situation they was in as if, because the media stopped talking about it, now it's officially going away. No. We got the same crooked situation going on right now. Same crooked situation. We still got people being foreclosed on. We still got people down in these courtrooms fighting and taking their property and selling the houses on the auction. We're under the impression that when we buy property at an auction, that it belongs to us. But I don't. I don't. It is your signature that pays the debt, according to House Joint Resolution 192 and House Resolution Fight 192. That is your signature because they took all the gold out of circulation and left you with number debt. So your signature is supposed to be paying for stuff. But what is happening is when people are attempting to do that, they're like, oh, well, you did it wrong. You got to go to jail. And all of this kind of foolishness. And so it behooves us to learn this stuff inside out. And this is one of the reasons why we put these broadcasts up here and make it possible for you to contact us, and so that we can discuss this stuff so you can get a clear and concise understanding of what's going on with these things. This crisis situation haven't gone away. The crooked, one-sided stuff haven't gone away. It have not all of a sudden become legal and lawful. You gotta keep in mind that there's a difference between legal and lawful. Okay, we gotta keep this in mind. Also, let me remind you one more time, for those of you who are just tuning into this broadcast, and by the way, we're going to be coming back with some more information to read to you so you can see how this stuff is constructed and so you can know how to deal with these people. On the 16th of this month at Fernandina Beach, right in Jacksonville, Florida, we will have the Marcus Garvey weekend. This will be an all-day event. So those of you that come down there, you can bring your grill with you. You can bring your tents, bring your lawn chairs and stuff. And we're going to have a wonderful time. There'll be some good, powerful speakers will be down there with us so that you can hear from the brothers and sisters. I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing you there. That's August the 16th, right here in Jacksonville, Florida at Fernandina Beach. Okay? Bring your shorts and prepare to have a good time and meet with everybody and enjoy yourself. Okay? All right. Now, I don't know what happened to my brother. His call dropped, and maybe he's getting that hooked up. But the show must go on. So until you decide that if you got any questions or comments, you can go ahead and raise your hand. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a little quick commercial break. So hold on a moment.
Hi, I'm Tarhaka on Monterey Bay, and I want to give you some good news. Over at my website, newdebtelimination.com, is 2 sure-fired and tested methods for, number 1, getting out of debt now and owning a brand new business that belongs to you. Contact me directly, 904-303-9061. That's 904-303-9061. Go over to my website at www.newdebtelimination.com. That's www.newdebtelimination.com. We can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Let's get out of debt now, and let's own your own business. Now, you can't beat that with a stick. 904-303-9061 or www.newdebtelimination.com.
Okay, area code 412. Could you tell us who you are and what's your question or comment?
Lisa, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Tarhaka?
Hey, Lisa. How you doing?
How you doing? I'm all right.
Fine.
I have 2 questions, I think. I might have 3. But my first question is, do you have a template in your law library of that letter of rogatory?
No, that
Okay.
thing there, the individual that created that document, they searched high and low for
I can tell.
But it was nowhere to be found. And I think what happens
that's
is
a powerful letter.
Oh yeah, no doubt. They was able to. I think they had to put that together themselves by examining and actually doing all the work and looking at the looking at that stuff. And I got a sample copy of the work that they have done, and I've been communicating with them and what I want to do, because they got an entire thing. And this system here is something, after if they contact you and they're saying they're foreclosing on you and all of this stuff here, you can use this entire package. But what I'm doing now, and I'm working on it, is trying to get the entire thing so that I can make it available for people, and I'm going to have to follow their guidelines and rules or what have you. But I believe this type of bomb here, I don't think this is something you just send somewhere. I think you're going to have to know this in order to use it.
Well, the reason why I asked is because my letter of rogatory, it had many of those statutes in it, but as you were reading it, I'm like, okay, I don't have that one. Okay, I don't have that one. But I have many of them because I did the research and studied, because of you recommending that information to me. But and I have to say that Gene Keating is I like him because he keeps stuff in layman's terms. A lot of times folks that know a lot, they talk over your head and you're like, what are you talking about? But he keeps it in layman's terms, and you can understand what he's saying. So, that's a good thing. But the other question I have for you is, do I have to do the administrative process with my letter of rogatory? I gave them the 10-day notice. So do I have to give them 5 and then 3? Or wait? What I would do, and because this is the process that I use, I don't see any reason to sit on something and wait till I get in there on the courtroom floor to start wrangling with something. I want this information out. I want you to know what's going to happen, what's coming, and so you will know to go ahead on and surrender right now before this blow up on you. So I always deal with in a minute, and just like Gene Keating said, this stuff is supposed to be, these mortgages and the foreclosures, all this stuff is supposed to be nipped in the bud. It should never reach a courtroom. Right.
And the stuff that I just rattle off on this letter of rogatory, and they get that there. I mean, hey man, what you gonna do? What you gonna say? These uniform commercial codes are a liar? How you gonna get around them? Okay.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I would attach them to the documentation and keep in mind that if you send somebody an initial affidavit, we're still looking for a response on that initial affidavit. But if you send them a notice of fault and opportunity to cure, or if you send them a notice of fault and dishonor, or if you are sending them a certificate of non-response, you can add that on to any of that, and you can also add your Minnesota Rule 220 to that thing, because these are contracts that you have in your possession. This is your position, and this is the position that you're coming from. We just need the people who claim that you owe them the debt to come onto the table and just go ahead and give us what we're requesting right here by law, and that's the way that goes. And we send the stuff to them long before we ever get up in a courtroom. Okay? If somebody sends you something saying, well, you got to go to court, or you're being sued, well, I will go ahead and make sure that this document here is already gone and given you, so you know what our position is before we get there.
So let me ask you this. What if I receive something prior to me sending my document out that says I think it's something that I need to appeal? Do you suggest that I appeal it, or do you think I should just wait and deal with this?
Well, to answer that question there, I think Brother Patrick is most qualified to answer that, because he deals with going down up in there. Me personally, I deal with provisions.
Right. That's what I like to do, but because it's all just it's it's a circus down there. They're all in bed together, and they make you think they're really listening to your case, and they're not no more listening to that case than the man in the moon. They're going to rule the way they want to rule.
Well, yeah, if you let them do that to you, I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when they go inside of there, I personally feel like people don't do timely objections. And you have to know when someone is ignoring you. You have to know when someone is trying to override your contract, because we're accustomed to them sending contracts to us, and they're attempting to enforce their contract. So this is a two-edged sword. This contract situation go both ways. And if you create your contract, well, I would demand that my contract be heard. If you ignore me, I have to object. Excuse me, objection. Hold it. I'm still need to get this right here into the record, and then you can break the law. After I get this in on there. But don't try to ignore me and not allow me to do anything, and act like I'm not there, and just run it over so you can come to a conclusion and say that I'm out the game because I didn't object. And the reason I'm saying that, because that's what happened to a 18-year-old girl. She was in there and on a student loan situation, and they was trying to, because she was so young, they was trying to talk over her. They was trying to ignore her. When she tried to speak or say something, she was just totally ignored. And so finally, she called me and told me about it. And but when she went back in there, every time they ignored her, she objected. And every time they tried to look over her, she objected. And she demanded to read her affidavit into the record. And I realized that was what they was trying to keep off the record, because if she got that on the record, it's all over. So finally, the judge told her, well, look, give it to me, and I'll go ahead and read it into the record. I'll go ahead and read it. And she said, no, I'm quite capable of reading it into the record myself. And finally, the judge wasn't about to let that happen, so excuse me, the judge dismissed it all, threw it all out. Everything out. But she was not going to allow her to read that in the record. She was trying to ignore it and get around it. So it's important for us to understand the documentation that we have in our possession, because these are our contracts, and we're the ones that have to enforce these contracts. And we need to enforce these contracts prior to ever getting up in the courtroom. And we do that through the administrative process, going right to the people that's claiming you owe them. And that's in every situation. If it's child support, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. You gotta deal with it that way. You gotta stop these folks from rolling you.
Okay.
All right. Well, but I do want you to give me a call, and I'll give you what information I do have in regards to this situation here, and see if I can get your question answered with Brother Patrick. His call is dropped, and I don't know what's going on. He had told me earlier that
we're over here. We're having a thunderstorm over here, so I don't know, what's going on as far as weather-wise, but we're having a thunderstorm over here, and I'm surprised my internet connection hasn't dropped.
Well, the bottom has done dropped out over here, and it's pouring down rain over here, and he's down in South Florida, so it may be raining down there too. But we had 91% today, so it's been raining since about I think about 6. It's been coming down since 6 o'clock, so it's rolling.
Okay.
But anyway, I will contact you.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you a call tomorrow, Wednesday.
Okay.
And see what we can come up with. All right. Thank you, Tarhaka. I appreciate you.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. If there's anybody else got a question, Now's the time to raise your hand. 310-982-4184. 310-982-4184. I want to talk about the administrative process in general again. The way it goes is when you when you are bringing the debt into question, and someone is claiming that you owe them for a mortgage, you owe them for child support, or you owe them for a student loan, you want to remember that your initial affidavit is the document that you want satisfied. Everything else that you do after that, it goes along with that, but your main concern is the satisfaction of the original debt that's been brought into question through your lawful affidavit. If they haven't responded to you, then you can send out your notice of fault with an opportunity to cure the fault, and the fault is on the original request for information or original affidavit that you're trying to get satisfied. And if they're not doing that at that point, now we can come back and say, well, okay, this time has passed and you have not responded for my lawful request, so you're now officially in dishonor. And if they're not forthcoming with that, then we can sum this whole situation up through a certificate of non-response, which means what I'm saying to you now is I made a lawful request on such and such a day. I set an opportunity to cure on such and such a day. You became in dishonor in such and such a day. So now, as far as I'm concerned, you are in agreement with everything that I have said in my request for satisfaction of the situation. So through your non-response, your non-rebuttal, or what have you, you are in agreement, and we consider this matter closed. Okay? And if they're continuing to claim you on this, that, and the other, and at this point that you are positioned to add any final documentation and to actually file your claims. And that's the way that situation do. But you want to make every effort to satisfy a matter informally prior to running up in a courtroom and trying to fight and argue and debate and all this kind of business. Okay? And this is, in my opinion, this is the most effective way of dealing with your debt collectors. All right? And keep in mind the information that I gave you at the outset of this stuff. When it comes to people contacting you by telephone and harassing you, there are laws in place to prevent that. And you can actually sue these people. And once again, the way to go at that, and I'll give you an example. If I had a debt collector contacting me by telephone, and he's calling me in the morning, he's calling me in the afternoon, he's calling me at night, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, he's calling me on the weekends, he's calling me on Sunday, he's calling my employer on my job and all this right here. That's harassment. And so what I would do is simply write up a letter. Please refrain from contacting me at this particular telephone number in regards to this alleged account, and put the telephone number and put the account on there and the account number there, and go ahead and date this and sign it. Make copies of it and send it to them, and give them approximately 3 days to get it. And after you know they got it and they continue to harass you and make these calls and stuff, you don't have to argue or debate with these people. You can go ahead and get you a copy of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. That's the FDCPA. Get you a copy of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, FCRA. Telephone Consumer Practices Act. That's the TCPA. The Truth in Lending Act, the TILA, and your RASPA. Get that information set and ready to go. And you can send these people a lawful affidavit and attach this information to it, and make sure you got a printout of all the calls that come from these people. Just request your telephone company to send you an email with a printout of all the calls that come in and out of your residence from these people, and go ahead and highlight them, and make sure you create an invoice and send this to these people and let them know that you're requiring $1,500 on X amount of date that this particular telephone number came in, see exhibit, to highlight it, a document, and for the violation of the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, I need $1,000 for that, and also the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and so on and so forth. And each state have these things listed, these violations. Let them know how much you're suing them for that call, and then you go down to the next call, and you repeat the process, and then you total the amount up, and let them know how much to make their check out for, and make that check payable to you, and go ahead and put it in the mail and send it to them. And send this to them, and make copies of this whole situation now, and send this to them, certified mail with return receipt, so that you'll know that they got it. And we are expecting the amount of money that they have racked up by breaking the law. And of course, if they're foolish enough to ignore that, then it's time to file a claim. And I'll put this in there because once the court gets a hold of it and they see that these violations are taking place, not only they're gonna have to pay it all to you, but they got to pay court calls and everything else. You might want to consider putting some pain and suffering up in there, because it's against the law, and you don't have to be harassed. But that is the way to go about getting that situation solved. You know, you want to deal with it from an informal position first. Okay. All right. Let's move on a little further down dealing with this with these mortgages and stuff. And let's take a look at a rescission, because we was talking about rescinding the contract. But before we do that, let's look at we're going to do that rescission, what it looks like and what it reads like, so you understand what that type of document looked like. Because we want to bring up this business about fraud. So you all bear with me here. Let me get this information up so that we can see what this kind of stuff looks like. Because see, these people are playing these type of games. They're destroying people's livelihood through what they're doing, and the people are not bringing up fraud. So here we go, right here. Okay, this is the formal requirements statute of frauds excerpt as otherwise provided in this section. A contract for the sale of goods for the price of $500 or more is not enforceable by way of action or defenses unless there is some writing sufficient to indicate that a contract for sale has been made between parties and signed by the party against whom enforcement is sought by its authorized agent or broker. A writing is not insufficient because it omits or incorrectly states a term agreed upon by the contract is not enforceable under the paragraph beyond the quantity of goods shown in such writing between merchants. If within a reasonable time in writing and confirmation of the contract and sufficient against the sender is received and the party receiving it has reason to know its contents, it satisfies the requirements of the subsection. 1. Against such party, unless written notice of objection to its contents is given within 10 days after it is received. Okay. Now, this is part of the document that Patrick and I spoke about earlier in the rescinding of a contract. Excuse me. Let me get to the first part here. Okay, this is page 2. So let me take a look at, okay, here it is right here. All right. CFR 226-23, right of rescission. And the CFR chapter 2, subchapter A, part 226, subpart C. Okay. Special rules for foreclosures. Right to rescind. After the initiation of foreclosure on the consumer's principal dwelling that secures the credit obligation, the consumer shall have the right to rescind the transaction if a mortgage broker fee that should have been included in the finance charge was not included, or the creditor did not provide the properly completed appropriate model form in Appendix H of this part, or a substantially similar notice of rescission. Number 2, tolerance of disclosure. After the initiation of foreclosure or the consumer's principal dwelling that secures the credit obligation, the finance charge, and other disclosures finance charge, such as the amount financed and the annual percentage rate, shall be considered accurate for purposes of this section if the disclosed finance charge is understated by no more than $35 or is greater than the amount required to be disclosed. Okay, that's a part of the information that we have here. That's what we call it, dealing with on rescission. But by when you are rescinding, what you are doing is you are requesting documentation, just like the brother had stated earlier. They are the ones that are supposed to give you this information, and to actually do the rescission. Okay, and this stuff is spelled out, and I know a lot of what we're talking about now. Probably some of you have never heard of this stuff, and it goes on and on and on. But we're trying to deal with the basis. I'm just letting you know that there are remedies and there is protection for you there. And I would like to recommend that you all listen to the audio again right there. You can find that on YouTube. Listen to Angela Stark as she interviews Gene King, and he goes through this entire thing here that we're discussing tonight from start to finish. And you can glean a lot of information, and you can do a lot of things there. So I highly recommend that to you, because he comes right out and tell you this stuff should never go to court. And so we just still got some understanding to get, because people are still attempting to go down in there and battle with these people in these courtrooms. Let's deal with holder in due course. Okay, and I'll turn from the page and let's take a look at that, because there's quite a bit of information, and Gene Keelan covers everything that we are dealing with here this evening. And I'm just trying to give you some highlights on what's going on, and so that you all can deal with this. But just remember, it is actually a administrative process that we're discussing here this evening. Okay, I went a little bit too far. We're still discussing an administrative process. This is designed to get this matter settled prior to ever going in there. So we want to stay out of there by being the one that initiates. Okay, let's see. That is H. Okay, we want to get this matter solved informally prior to ever going in there. Okay, just bear with me a second. Now, if any of you got any questions, now's the time to raise your hand. The number is 310-982-4184. And we can see what's on your mind and see if we can get you Okay, here we go. Get down to this fraud thing right here first, and then we'll go directly in there. Basic principles of rescission for fraud. Under the restatement second of contracts, contract is voidable by victim of misrepresentation under the following circumstances. When a misrepresentation makes a contract voidable. If a party's manifestation of assets is induced by either fraudulent or material misrepresentation by other parties upon which the recipient is justified in relaying the contract is voidable by the recipient. 2, if parties' manifestation of assets is induced by either fraudulent or material misrepresentation by one who is not a party to the transaction upon which the recipient is justified in relaying, the contract is voidable by the recipient, unless the other party to the transaction is in good faith and without reason to know of the misrepresentation, either gives valuable or relies materially on the transaction. So it is at this point that I have a question. Okay. If you're saying that everything is lawful and legal, and you come and you tell me that you have sold my mortgage to someone else, and now these people are expecting me to pay them, and I don't have a contract with them, I think that is I think that's a bit fraudulent. I don't think it's kosher, because if I don't have a contract with someone else, how am I now liable to somebody else that I never had a contract with? You understand me? But it's stated out clearly right here. The reasons for bringing up the issue of fraud, right there in that statement alone, right there, that we just brought out. Okay, but let's go on a little bit further, and let's take a look at the holder in due course, and let's see how that business goes. Okay. Let's see, statute frauds and be going on past here. Let's get over here. Here we go. We're right here right now. So let's take a look at this thing. And holder in due course, subject to subsection, section 3-106D. Holder in due course means the holder of an instrument. The instrument, when issued or negotiated to the holder, does not bear such apparent evidence of forgery or alteration, or is not otherwise so irregular or incomplete as to call into question its authenticity. And 2, the holder took the instrument for value in good faith, without notice that the instrument is overdue or has been dishonored, or that there is an uncured default with respect to payment of another instrument issued as part of the same series, without notice that the instrument contains an unauthorized signature or has been altered, without notice of any claim to the instrument described in section 3-306, without notice that the any party has a defense or claim and recoupment described in section 3-305. Now, all it is based on the actual codes that are there, right there in the Uniform Commercial Code. They're right there. All that information is right there, and it's clearly spelled out right there for you. This information was taken directly from these codes that are available to everybody right there. And it's just that there's certain things that people haven't been doing. They haven't been bringing up the issue of fraud. They haven't been calling these people out on the various deeds and stuff and the various acts and stuff that they have committed. So it's as simple as that. Now, in the documentation that we use over at New Debt Elimination, dealing with your mortgage, dealing with your student loan, child support, and all these various things, these documents are put together by professionals, and the situation that I deal with is not, I'm not interested in folks just getting documentation from me and send it somewhere and sit back, well, I need to see what's going to happen. No, what we want to do is the documents that we have in our possession, we want to make sure that these documents are filled out correctly and they're signed and notarized. But along with sending these documents where they are supposed to be sent, we want to take the time to take a copy of these documents and study the documents so we can become familiar with the very contract that we are supposed to be using. And the reason I'm saying that because I have ran into situations where people have come and told me from simple crooked student loans, well, this here didn't work. I said, well, what didn't work? Well, the document, it didn't work. I said, well, it didn't? I said, well, tell me exactly what it is about the document that you sent, your contract, that you know. Tell me about it. What it was supposed to do. Tell me all about it. Well, I don't know everything about it. I said, did you read the document? Well, I read some of it. And so we still have people who we don't want to read. We don't want to understand nothing. We just want something to just automatically happen out the clear blue sky without us using our brain at all. We gotta get away from that. It doesn't work that way. If you got a contract, learn everything that you can about your contract. Don't hesitate to look up a few words. Because this is not only to help you with the problems that you have, but it is also something that you need to learn. And when you learn, then you can help somebody else. Okay? And this is why we're putting this information out there. Nevertheless, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be coming back in the future. We're going to deal with your student loans. We're going to give you a breakdown on that. And we're going to also be dealing with child support situation. We're going to be dealing with the your freedom of right to travel and stuff. I posted quite a few videos the other day about your freedom of right to travel because there's some things that we still need to understand about that. And keep in mind, just because that hasn't been in the news lately, that it's going away. No, it's not. And the law is still there. Okay? If you're out there on the street and pavement today, you should have video cameras and audio recording devices in your conveyance. So when somebody pulls you over and they request a driver's license registration, well, the first question is, sir, could you tell me what crime I've committed or what crime am I about to commit? Or could you tell me what was your reasonable suspicion about a crime that I committed? And the reason I'm saying that because that's a law. Or could you give me your name? Well, sir, I don't answer any questions. That's my right. I have a right now to remain silent. I can make a reasonable request. I can request your badge number. I can request your name. You have to give that to me. If you're cutting on your lights behind me, you're declaring an emergency. I have a right to know who the injured party is. Otherwise, you committed a felony. Now, I'm not telling anybody to argue with anybody. We only just want to make sure that we understand the old adage. No evidence, no case. And there's software available. And for those of you who haven't gotten my free reports yet, because I put the information in there so that you can access the software that you can install on your computer. So when you are operating out here on this pavement and you're recording this information, it can be sent directly to your computer. It's not just recorded on your cameras and your audio devices. There's software that can be installed so this information can be recorded right there on the spot and can be transferred. It goes straight to your computer at a separate location. So send for my free reports. Just send that. Just say Tarhaka, send me your free reports. Or either better still, go to newdebtelimination.com. Look up top. Click on the Contact Us page. Put in your information. that comes over there to me, and I will automatically send you our free articles. Okay, and in the body of that email, I put the information in there that whereby you can go to the website and get access to this software. And so now back to what I'm saying about because we're still talking about debt and all this kind of stuff because these criminal acts and people I would like to encourage that you go over to my wall over there on Facebook and you'll see a series of audio that's put there so that you will see how these people handle these situations. And I want you to keep in mind that these people handle this stuff in a certain way. Okay, the only thing that these folks done is they abided by their rights. They followed their rights. And what I took the liberty of doing is getting a little bit of this information and putting it up here for those of you who haven't heard this. This is a situation that occurred right down here in Jacksonville. But what I want you to do, I want you to listen to what happened and how this guy did this. And what he did was he simply did what he, by law, he could do. That's right. The Constitution doesn't give you any rights. You born with rights. The Constitution just is supposed to protect the rights you already got. So let's get that part understood first. But we're going to run a little short clip. I want you to pay very close attention to how this thing went down. Pay attention. This audio will be coming up shortly. And this is an actual stop that occurred right down here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. She didn't take. Oh, shit, I'm getting pulled over. All right. I'm getting pulled over. Yeah, I'm getting pulled over. All right. Yeah. Right on. I'm gonna leave you on speaker. All right.
Now we get to meet one another. How are you doing? What's going on with you following me? Are you an investigator of some sort?
Can I ask why you pulled me over, sir?
I pulled you over because the young ladies came over there and said you've been following her since she left the airport yesterday. So I want to know who you are.
Have I committed a crime?
No, but I'm conducting an investigation. Have you been following that young lady? I mean, if you're an investigator, investigate away. But if you're somebody harassing her or stalking her, that's against the law. Me pulling you over to find out who you are is me doing my job.
You mind getting that light out of my eyes?
Sir, it's nighttime. I don't know you from Adam's house cat. I don't know if you have weapons in here.
You see both my hands right here.
Well, I don't know if you have weapons in here, man. So I'm going to keep my flashlight right here where it is. I don't have it in your face. That would be in your face. I have it down. I'm trying to show you that respect. I'm illuminating the vehicle for my safety. Now, would you agree that I've answered every question you've asked me? And all I asked you was one simple question.
Am I free to go?
No, you are not. Not until I find out who you are. I'm conducting an investigation. Do you have your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance on you?
Have you pulled me for a traffic violation, sir?
No, sir. I've already explained that to you. Now, you can play the back and forth rigmarole all you want to. I've explained to you why I pulled you over.
Okay, and you didn't have PC. I'm not suspected of committing a crime.
The probable cause is that you've been following this young lady, and she.
Do you know that, sir? Did you see that? Did you see that, deputy?
You came back by. Why'd you come back by?
I don't have to answer questions.
Okay, you don't have to answer questions. Okay, You do have to identify yourself.
Sir, if you suspect me of committing a crime or about to commit a crime, I have to identify myself. You have no probable cause to pull me for a traffic violation. I asked you why you pulled me.
Because the young lady said that you've been following her since yesterday.
So you believe everything everyone says to you?
I'm conducting an investigation.
Okay. Well, you conduct right away, sir. At this point in time, I elect to not say anything. I elect to speak to say anything without having my attorney present. That would be Eric Friday.
Call him. Tell him to come up here. We're at the 8100 block of Arlington Express.
Just so you're aware, you're being videotaped.
I do not care. Do you get my good side? My right side is usually my best side.
Yeah, there's no good side on the cop's face.
Well, you're one of those people.
Yeah, it's one of those people. Yeah, and you're one of those people, right? Gun and badge for an extra rice, right?
No, it doesn't grant me an extra rice.
Yeah.
How about you
do your job and honor your oath?
Telling me that somebody's been following her since yesterday? Yeah, I'm investigating.
Yeah, and you just take everything everyone comes up to you. Okay, I just said someone pull a gun on me. You gonna go investigate that?
I sure would. Who pulled a gun on you?
Yeah.
Who pulled a gun on you? Someone pull a gun on you?
I don't answer questions, Deputy.
You don't answer questions. You just stalk young ladies. Just stand by them. Stand by.
Right. He's coming back up to the vehicle.
Okay.
Your name and badge number, Deputy? Your name and badge number, Deputy? Well, the guy that pulled me is leaving. The guy that pulled me over is leaving. Am I free to go, Deputy? Am I free to go?
No, sir, not yet.
What am I being detained for, sir?
Hey, when I get around to get my car where it needs to be, I'll explain to you.
Hey, buddy, what's going on here?
Name and badge number, sir?
Simpson 66190.
Masinsin, M-A-S-I-N-S-I-N. Sir, I'd like to know why I'm being detained.
No, someone's saying that you're claiming your stock. What is that? Are you an investigator or anything?
Okay, let me make this clear, sir. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm not giving you gentlemen a hard time.
Yeah.
Not yet.
So I'm going to roll this window up, okay?
Okay.
I'd like to know...
Someone's alleged...
Let me speak for a moment, sir. No disrespect.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like for you to articulate what crime you suspect me of committing or what crime you suspect me of about to commit.
No, we just have a reasonable suspicion to figure out what's going on here.
No, sir. So you don't get to detain me to figure out if I've committed a crime, sir. The law and the statute states, in order for you to detain me, you must have reasonable, articulable suspicion that either I have committed...
Yeah, we have probable cause.
What is your probable cause?
We got a complaint that we got that's the red...
That's not probable cause, sir. What crime do you suspect me of committing?
Stalking.
And you suspect me of committing stalking?
That's what I want to know. Were you anywhere near this?
I don't answer questions.
Do you know who she is?
I do not answer questions.
She has no idea who
if you're going to articulate that you suspect me of committing a crime and have reasonable suspicion of that...
If you don't agree with it, if you don't agree with our probable cause...
Your name and badge number, sir?
Sir, what's your name?
Your name and badge number, sir?
Are you going to remember?
But all you're being recorded. I've got 4 cameras in this truck. You're required by policy to issue your name and badge number. I'm going to ask you what... I'm speaking to this gentleman right now. I'll get your name and badge number in a minute. Your name and badge number.
0051.
What's your name?
I just told you.
I didn't hear it because I was sitting there speaking to this gentleman.
It so you can pick it up later.
Sir, I'm going to ask you once again. If you want to be a smart ass about it, I'll file an internal affairs case on you.
I gave you once already.
I didn't hear it. I'm asking you once again, so to extend some professional courtesy and treat me with the respect I deserve.
I did.
What is your name and badge number?
Well, here's sir. I gave you mine.
0051.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Deputy. Was that so hard?
No.
Your name and badge number, sir.
When I give you my name and badge number, can I have your name?
Name and badge number, sir.
Lou. Hang on. I'd like to have your name, sir.
See, the thing is, sir, the law states I don't have to give my name and information unless you suspect me of committing a crime.
I don't.
Then am I free to go? Because this is an illegal detainment.
At this time.
This is an illegal detainment. My attorney, Mr. Eric Friday, would love to bring up a civil lawsuit against you and the city for this illegal detainment.
Sir, we're not trying to upset you.
I'm not
upset. We had a radio call. Let me give you what.
Go right ahead, sir.
We got a radio call that a vehicle matching this description of your vehicle was harassing someone in a short sense. Okay. Don't know what's transpired. We don't know anything about it. Your car meets what we were told, and that's why we're questioning you.
Okay.
And that's very simple. All we need to do is just ask you your name and the car and where you've been.
May I ask how my name is going to establish whether I've harassed someone or not?
You ask for our name. It would be nice to have your name as well.
It would be, but see, I don't...
And you don't have to give it
I appreciate
now
you saying that, sir.
All right, you don't have to give it now, but we'd just like to know. So we can, gentlemen?
Yeah.
Would that be okay?
My name is Mike, sir. You can address me as Mike.
Okay, that's fine, Mike. That's a great beginning.
Right.
And the reason why is because, like I said, your car matches the description we were given.
I respect
doesn't
that.
mean
I respect
you're guilty.
That. I respect that. You're talking to an ex-law enforcement officer, buddy.
All right, we're not saying you're guilty of anything. We didn't say that.
Then you are illegally detaining me. I asked the last deputy that left what was his reason for stopping me. He didn't stop me for trafficking. Let me calm down. I shouldn't be yelling at you.
Thank you.
I shouldn't be doing that.
I'm not yelling at you.
This deputy that stopped me, sir, did not articulate he would stop me for a traffic violation. Then I asked him what his probable cause was, or what crime he suspected me of committing, or what reasonable crime, or reasonable suspicion.
The case is, as I stated, is that we had a description of a vehicle. Your vehicle matched that, and we're just here to determine, no, you're not the one, or yes, you are the one. Very
but see, the law protects me. I don't have to answer questions.
Yes, sir. But we're asking for your cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
And can we get that cooperation?
I'm cooperating. The fact that I extend my rights doesn't mean I'm not cooperating, sir. Would you agree with that, sir?
But I don't understand it. If you said you're an ex-law enforcement officer, and you understand that when somebody calls us and says, hey, this vehicle was following me, okay? And we stop you, and we ask you questions regarding you, either you did or you didn't.
Correct.
Wouldn't you think a citizen, if they weren't doing anything wrong, would say, no, I'm not doing
that? But see,
sir,
as a law enforcement officer, I realize how LEOs twist people's words.
No, we're not.
Let me finish speaking, okay?
Yes, please do.
They twist people's words. Any attorney, and all you three gentlemen will know, you don't ever speak to the cops.
I want to hear what he got to say.
You don't ever talk to cops. Never. You never talk to cops unless you're legally obligated to. Nothing good can come from that. I'm very well of my rights, very well aware of my rights. Now, I understand you're doing no fault with that. You are doing your job.
Okay.
And the mere fact that I'm exercising my legal rights does not make me uncooperative. Okay? Now, the fact that someone called you and said they're harassing doesn't give you the general order just to stop people.
No, that wasn't the reason why. Because a person in a vehicle that matched your description was doing that. We didn't say you were doing it.
Okay.
And that's what we're coming down to.
But how do you define harassing? Someone just called says they were harassing. Did you ask her what they did? Did you ask the person?
She said a red truck, pickup truck was following her since she came in town.
Is that a crime?
We haven't determined that. We just want to make sure.
Do you see where I'm going with this, sir? I mean, I understand. You guys are doing your job, but do you see how this goes? I'm aware of my rights. You do not have, or excuse me, you have the right to ask me whatever question you want.
You're really enjoying this.
I'm not enjoying anything. You know what I am enjoying? How you officers fail to realize that those badges and those guns don't give you the right to violate other people's rights. Sir, you are. I've articulated to you that you are illegally detaining me. And because you choose to abuse your authority and not recognize that what I'm saying is a fact, you are illegally violating my rights.
To question you, to find out if you are the one or not the one that was violating this other woman's rights.
But I've made it clear, sir, I'm not going to answer questions. I've made it clear I'm not. You don't get to. Yes, sir. The fact that I'm exercising my rights does not mean I'm not cooperating, sir.
Yes, it does.
It does not. It absolutely does not. Now, if I was doing something against the law or resisting you in some manner...
We can't determine that.
But you don't get to question me so I can give you information so you can make a case or not a case. I'm not saying I am this person. I'm not saying I am not this person. But what you fail to realize is I do not have to speak to you, sir. And that does not give you the right to detain me until you get some information to charge me with a crime. You don't get to search and search until I say something or you twist something I say to use it against me. You gentlemen have a dangerous job. There is 19 unsolved murders in this city. Okay? You've got much better things to do than fuck with me. Okay? I'm not a threat to anyone.
We're not here to talk.
What? Sir, there's 5 cops here. The gentleman that pulled me, and if he had any reasonable articulate suspicion, is no longer here. I'm assuming, I don't know where he is or where he's gone. You 3 gentlemen have no first-hand information. No first-hand information. This officer that pulled me over said he spoke with some individual that says apparently I was doing something that was classified as harassment.
That's not what we said. We didn't say
you didn't say that. I said that officer.
That your vehicle was told.
Now, were you here? See this camera here?
Yes.
That officer stood here and said he spoke to a woman that said I was harassing her and following her for days. I didn't say you 3. The black gentleman, the gentleman that was here a few moments ago, that has now left the scene. So once again, gentlemen, hold on. Let me calm down.
Go ahead.
Once again, gentlemen, if you have a reasonable articulate suspicion of me committing a crime or about to commit a crime, you have a right to detain me, ask me for my ID, which I will oblige you with, as I'm required by law. Short of that standard, you are illegally detaining me. I've asked to be free to go, and you are telling me until I give you some information, I'm not free to go. That is a violation of my rights, sir. Do you understand that?
Please willing to give us your ID. That's all I need.
You know what, guys? I would love to give it to you because I used to be one of them. But because I'm aware of my rights and because of my life experiences with law enforcement, I choose to exercise my rights. Not to be difficult, sir. You guys have much more better things. See, that's just it, because people don't know the rights. And because LEOs, I don't know you 3 gentlemen personally. I quit a department because I ratted out the crook cops that worked with me. Okay? I'm sick of it. The corruption is everywhere. Every single cop in this nation is a liar. All right? I used to be one of them.
And you're calling 3 of us liars.
Yes, sir. If you're going to stand here and tell me you've never falsified tweets, twisted a report just for your benefit, or provided false information, or saw one of your fellow brothers in blue violate someone's rights or do something wrong, by the mere fact of you withholding that information and not going to your supervisor makes you a liar. In your life, you've never, ever lied. You've never, ever lied in your entire life.
Well, that's something. Are you talking as a police officer or as a human being?
As a police officer, you've never lied in your life. Sir, you're allowed to lie in investigations. The Supreme Court has ruled you're allowed to lie. So your credibility just went out the window for me. I'm a certified interrogator, buddy. Don't sit here and play this game with me. You just lost your credibility. Now, any respectable person would say, of course I've lied. I've lied in the line of duty. I've lied in my personal life. Yeah. I got more integrity in my finger, buddy, than you've got in your whole body.
Okay, sir, back to my original question
Yes,
when
sir.
I first got here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you following somebody?
I don't answer questions, sir.
Okay.
Am I free to go?
Yes, you're free to go.
Thank you. Are you still there?
Okay. That was very, very interesting, and I'm not encouraging anybody to go out there and do anything, say anything that you're not prepared to deal with. First of all, you and they will always tell you this: you do have the right to remain silent. So, in my opinion, when an officer cuts on his lights behind you and he tell you that he pulled you over because your tail lighted out, then my next question to the contractor is, am I being detained or am I free to go? Do you have a reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed? And please be advised that I do not answer any questions, and this entire interview is being recorded, sir. So could you give me your name and badge number to start with, and then we can proceed. And so, you know, we don't need to debate with anybody. They ask you any questions, you know, sir, I don't answer any questions. Now, that's the law. You haven't given me any reasonable suspicion. You haven't told me what crime has been committed. And for you to say, well, your tail light was out, I need your identification, driver's license, no. You got I'm under no obligation to give you that until we establish the fact that I've created caused bodily harm to somebody, or I have damaged some property. A crime has been committed. To have your tail light out is not a crime. If my vehicle was sitting in front of my house and I was not operating, and and I didn't crunk it up in it, but the light bulb didn't work, there's no crime being committed. If I'm riding down the street and the light is out, I haven't committed a crime. And but anyway, I just wanted to run that little piece by you to show you how. And I put several of these up on my website where in each and every case, the individuals did the same exact thing. They told them the same thing. I need to know what crime I committed. I don't answer any questions. I mean, those are your rights. You have a right to do that. And I'm not telling anybody to go out half-cocked to do anything. But and I've always encouraged you, if you're out there on that pavement, make sure that you have your recording devices inside your vehicle. Okay? Now, that's enough of that. And we're winding down to the close of the broadcast. And if anybody got any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, open up the line, let you in. Number to dial in, 310-982-4184. That's 310-982-4184. And if you got any questions, okay. And, of course, I've heard from a lot of people about, when it comes to brothers and sisters, you know, it's a little bit different and all this stuff here, and that's absolutely correct because, in my opinion, I think there's a whole lot of corruption going on. But I still think there's a way to deal with the situation if we remember that no evidence, no case. And we need to protect ourselves at all times when we're out there on that pavement and dealing with these individuals. And the same thing when it comes to dealing with mortgage and debt collectors, all this stuff, we're going to have to deal with the situation. We got to stop allowing people to harass you. They're claiming well, you owe my debt and stuff, and it's actually quite amazing because I have dealt with one lady that have gotten at least 5 different letters from a mortgage company, and this mortgage company is claiming that she owed them 5 different amounts. This is amazing. And so it's obvious to me that they don't know what's going on. You say, we owe you $12,000. You get a letter from us, and then you send another letter back stating that you have adjusted, and now it's $10,000. Then you send another one back saying you readjusted and $7,000. And you send another one back readjusted and says $5,000. And then another says it's $4,500, and another says it's $3,500. So this is quite amazing, and that should tell you that something is wrong. And what we have to do is we have to deal with the situation. We're going to be coming back at a new date. Hopefully, see if we can get back on tomorrow night and deal with another broadcast with another guest. And so I want y'all to look out for the advertisement. And we're going to be, keep in mind that we are going to be dealing with this thing involving law enforcement. We're going to be dealing with the child support, and we're going to be dealing with the student loan stuff. Again, and so that we can bring you the best possible information so that you can deal with these things. And keep in mind, we do have materials over at my website at newdebtelimination.com. And also keep in mind that you got to be in business for yourself. You just got to be. And this is now is the time. Kids are going back to school. For those of you who are home during the daytime when you don't have anybody bother you, nobody, the kids are running through the house, none of that. Now is the time for you to start you something so that you can change your circumstances financially. If you're alone with your own thoughts, we got to stop going from one mind occupied to the other and start dealing with something that could change our lives. We're going to have to start doing that. Okay? Now's the time. And so you go there. For those of you who would like to own your own business, we have a fantastic opportunity for you right over there at newdebtelimination.com. All you got to do is go over there, look up top. You'll see the thing on the right-hand corner that say own your business. And just check out that entire area over there. We have testimonials over there. We have the actual products. The website is there. We have videos there on the product so you can see the quality of what's available to you. And it's built on the network principle, on a residual situation, which is fantastic. I mean, there's no limit on the amount of money that you can make. So let's do something constructive. Let's get away from the 9 to 5, or let's do what's called diversify your income. Let's do some diversification. Okay, we're going to give you a little quick. This is a little very quick and brief excerpt of what I'm trying to tell you.
Into an opportunity the same way you are. As a matter of fact, a dear friend of mine from college, after we graduated, it didn't take us long to realize that we just did not want to have to work for somebody else for the rest of our lives. Once we got into the work world, we realized quickly we didn't want to do this for 40 years. So we started looking around, and I truly believe that the good Lord has a way of showing up when you need Him, because what happened for me was I actually was in downtown Chicago, and a friend of mine called me and said, listen, I think I found a way for us to make some pretty serious money. And that was all he had to say to me. And I ended up meeting with this individual, sat down, and I got some information very similar to what I'm going to share with you tonight. And I ended up taking full advantage of what I heard, because the two reasons that I ended up even meeting with him is, number one, he told me in that initial conversation that based on what he had seen, he did not think that there was any limitations on how much money we could make. So that got me interested right off the bat. But the second reason that I ended up coming to sit down and listen to the information was because even to this day, he's one of my best friends. And I knew that he would only get me to come look at something that he genuinely felt good about. So I ended up coming out and I sat down and I listened to a concept, just like what I'm going to share with you tonight. And after they got finished explaining this information, I looked at him, he looked at me, and I said, you know what? If this is above board, I'm in. Because it was brand new to me. I didn't know what I was looking at. But everything that was shared made a whole bunch of sense. And I'm telling you, what I've learned now is that when things make sense, they make dollars. And I ended up getting involved in this industry because it made common sense with what was shared with me. And so once I got involved in the industry, I decided I was going to just go all the way. And it's amazing how you can make a split decision, a very quick decision, and it can be financially life-altering. And many of you that are here tonight, the same thing is going to take place, because I want you to understand right off the bat that there is nothing different from me or any of the other leaders that have had tremendous success. There's nothing different between us and any of you that are here looking at this for the first time. And I know that there are a lot of people, especially in this economic climate, I know there's a lot of people that are looking for a way to generate some income. Yes or yes? Yes. So I know that this can be a blessing to you if you take what we're sharing seriously. And the fact that I've done this for many years, I want you to understand. All I want to do tonight is be a vessel for information. I want you to be able to walk out of these doors after we get done with this and have a full understanding of the concept of how this works. And if you like what you see, the way many of us obviously liked what we saw, then we welcome you to the family and let's make some money together. Is that fair? Yeah. So with that being said, I want to dive right into this and let you know who we are as a company and what's possible for you and your family. Obviously, the name of our company is what? 5 Links. Can somebody say 5 Links? 5 Links. That's the name of our company. And let me tell you who we are. We are simply a direct selling telecommunications and technology company, and we're also now a reseller of utilities. And here's the thing. We're actually allowing independent representatives to get involved and actually go out and acquire customers for our company. And as you acquire customers for our company will then turn around and pay you the same way the company makes money, which is residually. Because the fact that we market telecommunications services, how many of you understand that telecom bills are paid every 30 days? Am I correct? Yes. And what's even more exciting about that is you can never pay a telecom bill off. So let me tell you, this creates a continuous cash flow. And not only is it a continuous cash flow, but because you can't pay these telecom bills off, it's an ongoing continuous cash flow. And what I love most is that the company puts absolutely no limits whatsoever on how many thousands of people that you can be in a position that just because they are customers of our company, even people you don't know, even people you don't sign up, and I'm going to teach you what I mean by that. But every single 30 days, because they're a customer and they fall in your customer base, which will teach you how to build, how about every 30 days you're getting paid just because those people are paying their bills? Is that exciting? Yeah. And the fact that the company says, listen, we're not going to put any limitations whatsoever on how many thousands of people you can get paid on. And we don't care how long it takes. We don't care how fast you do it. Just build whatever you want to build. And now you've got many individuals that in this industry have made millions of dollars, such as myself, that are very successful in what we do. And all we want to do, we feel a blessing's a blessing when we can give it away. We've got a miracle in our mouths. And we want to share it with every single one of you in here. So I want to go into detail and share with you exactly who we are, why we do what we do. And I think what's important is this. You've got to first establish a reason why you need to do this. There's so many reasons. I mean, you may want to spend more time with your family. You may want to diversify your income. How many of you wouldn't mind having another stream of income coming in on top of what you're doing right now? How many of you wouldn't mind that? Would that be a good thing? I don't know anybody that would turn down additional income. Not to mention, how many of you wouldn't mind paying off some debt? Would that be a good thing? Would that remove some of the stress in your life? How many of you wouldn't mind being able to pay for a child's college fund, even if you don't have kids yet? How many of you wouldn't mind being able to give to charities and be more philanthropic? Wouldn't you love to do that? And what about the fact that, what if you can just get money as an issue? Totally out of the way. Because let me tell you this, folks. Money is only an issue when there's a lack thereof. Nobody's focused on money when you've got it in the bank. You understand that? So I want you to understand, once you establish your why, there's nobody other than the person that looks back at you in that mirror that can stop you from doing this. And I've always said, and I'm going to continue to say this for the rest of my life, in a business like ours, what's so very unique is the fact that the computer promotes you. Now, people hear that and they think it's a cliche, but I want you to understand what I mean. That just simply means discrimination is not in this. We don't care what color, what gender, what background, what education, credit, friends, size, any of that, hair color, none of that matters. You finally have a level playing field where you can get involved in something, and if you do what it takes to win, you will. And to me, that's the most refreshing thing I've ever seen when it comes to business, where you can play on the level of anybody else that you see having success. So with that, I want you to understand the background of the company. The company was started in 2001. So we are established, am I right? So we've gotten past all of the humps of being a startup company. We are an established company celebrating the 10-year anniversary. Not only that, the co-founders collectively, they got over 50 years of experience. So these guys got together, merged their talents, and built 5 Links, and look what it's become today. And you got to realize that we've got tremendous growth, 800% growth rate in the last 4 years. Now I want you to just put that in perspective. If your money grew 50%, would you be happy? Yeah. We all know if your money grew 100%, you doubled up. Am I right? Yeah. So 800% is 5 Links rocking. Yeah. You better believe it. Not only that, but look, the company injected about $7 million into a 50,000 square foot world headquarters just to house the employees that are going to represent for you. So you have to understand, everything's in place. And the reason I think this company is breaking records and doing all that it's doing is because they have a simple philosophy that's monumental in results. And all that is that they put the representatives first. Yeah. And let me tell you what that means. They understand that if we're happy, if you're happy, or if you're making money, you're happy. If you're happy, you'll stick around. If you stick around, you'll keep building it. And if you keep building it, it will keep growing. So that philosophy alone has put us in a position to have all this growth that we're having right now. So you have to understand, it is up to you to get this done. Now, how many of you have ever heard the expression that documentation beats conversation? All that simply means, folks, is that we are documented. This is credible. You can do your due diligence. We've been featured in so many different business publications, such as Your Business from Home, such as Direct Selling News, Inc. 500. That one blew me away. Inc. 500. There's a magazine. Everybody's familiar with Inc. Most people are, especially those that are savvy in business. You understand that Inc. comes out with an edition every year called the Inc. 500. They rank the 500 fastest growing privately held companies. Now think about this. In North America, privately held, fastest 500. Think about what city you live in. If you live in a big city, you probably got 500 companies in your downtown area. So for us to be amongst the top 500 fastest growing nationwide, are we kicking some you-know-what? Yeah. You better believe it. And we've done that for 4 years in a row. And last I checked, we were the only company of our kind to have ever done that. You get that? So this is not on trial, folks. This is not on trial. And I just believe that when you can pick up a magazine and do your due diligence, look, you don't have to rely on the person whom invited you here tonight. Do your research, do your due diligence, check everything out that we're sharing. Now let's get right into the meat. I want you to understand why I think the opportunity is incredible. Timing in business is everything. How many of you have heard the expression, being at the right place at the what? Right time. Let me tell you how that relates to you with this company. Is that we remember back in the 80s when the computer was born. And then in the mid-80s, deregulation took place where they broke up the monopoly, allowed competition to come in with telecommunications. Then in the 90s, the internet was born. It doesn't seem like long ago that we didn't know what www meant. Now, people can't survive without being online. So you have to understand, technology is constantly evolving. And then in 2000s, now we've got this thing called Voice over Internet Protocol. Some people call it VoIP. It's Voice over Internet Protocol. It just means you're able to get digital phone service using your existing high-speed internet connection. No more sticking your phone cord in your wall with fiber optics and having a telephone pole in the back. That's going to be a thing of the past. Now, if you've got internet, regardless of who your provider is, as long as you get the adapter, you stick your internet connection in there, then you stick your phone cord in the same adapter, and you've got digital phone service. And you can portably take your number anywhere in the world as long as you've got internet, and somebody can call your number no matter where you are. And it'll still be a domestic call if they're calling from your city. No matter where you are, you can be in another country, and it'll be a local call to them if they call your number. So technology and telecommunications is changing. It's evolving like nothing we've ever seen. Not only that, but now we are in the process of launching 5 Links Energy. Are you guys excited about that? Now, here's what's exciting to me. Let's get this. Let's talk some business here. Here's what's exciting to me. Is that every single aspect of bills that people are paying in their households, we've covered now. Look, I was proud when we used to say, look, we can cover your phone bill, your cellular bill, your satellite TV bill, we can get your internet service, we can get you all these services. But there was only one little thing we hadn't gotten into, which included gas and electricity, and now we can say we've got every single utility bill that somebody has to pay every single month where we can actually give them service. Is that exciting? So you're not having to convince somebody, hey, try this thing called a phone. Or you know what, I'm going to introduce you to these things called lights. They've already got it. All we're saying is that we can also give them that service that they're already having to pay a bill on every single day. Yes or yes? Yes. So get that. Not only that, look at what the energy sector can do. 5 Links Energy. Look at some of the things that this is going to allow for all of us. It's giving the consumers around the globe choices when these states are deregulating. And when it comes to energy, it's 10 times the size of telecommunications. Can you get excited about that? Energy monopolies are being broken up with natural gas and light. So all that means is now you can actually start saying to yourself that you can seriously make money when folks are getting hungry and cooking on a gas stove. Folks, you're getting paid when people are coming home and turning the lights on. Look, your friends are going to wonder why you walking in the house just turning lights on. The bottom line is these are some times that nobody is used to getting paid on. And every single one of us in this room has an ability to do that. Not only that, global links. This is exciting. The fact that voice over IP, look at some of the benefits of VoIP. Cutting the phone service by up to 50%. Look, if you could have a choice between paying more or less for a bill you already pay, which would you rather? Less. You choose that 10 out of 10 times. So if you can come to somebody and offer them a savings with voice over IP, they're going to at least entertain that conversation. Not only that, 44 million households are projected to be using VoIP by 2013, which is right around the corner. So you have to understand, just being at the right place at the right time can change your family if you are understanding what we're sharing here. Not only that, we've got exclusivity with the brand Global Links. 5 Links owns the company Global Links. So we have our own network, which is exciting. Not just for residential, but also for commercial. And then because all this technology is allowing us to do all these fancy things, we've got Wi-Fi accessibility and mobile, where we can download an app onto these smartphones and use voice over IP through Global Links. All these things that we never dreamed of being able to make money on. And not only that, we've got a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art network right in upstate New York. So everything's in place when it comes to anybody in this room becoming successful if you choose to. Now, let's talk about the rest of these services. 5 Links Mobile. How many people in this room you either have or know somebody that has a cell phone? Raise your hand. Look around the room, folks. 100% of the room has their hand up. So you have to understand, we're contracted with 4 of the major carriers in the U.S. So all the major carriers that people are very familiar with, you can sign other people, family members, friends, co-workers, neighbors, sign them up on these services that they're already familiar with, and because they're your customer, you become a financial benefactor. Not only that, we've got home security. I always jokingly say, look, if you've got all this fancy technology in your house, you need to have an alarm on there too. So if you got home security through 5 Links, we've also got high-speed internet, satellite TV through the 2 biggest satellite carriers in the nation. Also, we've got 5 Links identity theft, which is one of the fastest growing crimes in the United States. So we've got a way for you to protect your identity. And then we're launching a brand new service called Business Elite Services. And I'm telling you right now, many of you, this is going to be brand new to you getting an understanding of what this is. But we're going to be rolling this out tomorrow, and you're going to be blown away when you understand what Business Elite Services is. This is going to be one of the hottest products that we have in our company. Look, I'll give...
Okay, Morris, we back. I just wanted to give you a brief synopsis of the new opportunity that we're a part of. And once again, I would like to say congratulations to all of the brothers and sisters who have joined my network through 5 Links. And just keep on pushing. And this thing is getting bigger and bigger. And for those of you who are looking for one of the hottest opportunities in this country, and in my opinion, the world, because it's expanded outside the borders of the United States. They're tearing it up in the Philippines, and I mean, it's actually just a no-brainer. I mean, you're paying the bills, you got cell phones, you got lights, you got water, you got all these things already. You're already paying these bills. Get paid for doing it. Okay. Anyway, we come to the close of our broadcast, and I hope y'all got something out of it. And make sure that y'all tune in to our next upcoming broadcast. We're gonna be dealing with the child support, student loans, and all that good stuff. Okay, I've been your host, Tarhaka LB. Until next time.
It's time. Summit of the Moors, December 19th through the 20th in Jacksonville, Florida. Several great minds working on one collective, economic security. For the first time in Jacksonville, Taj, Tariq, Bay, Yusuf, L, Akili, and back at the summit, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Tarhaka, Amana, El Bay, Sharif, Noah, and our Amma, the Abundance Child, with myself, Dalo Saku. Register today at www.summitofthemoors.com.